Hare Krishna. Somajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. Here, today I am not be able to share the screen. So there is some technical issue, but we will have a discussion. You can, all of you, open your Bhagavatam, 17th chapter, text text 35 onwards. So actually, some important points before I wanted to discuss. So here, when it is said that people in this age are victims of Kali Yuga, this is a very important understanding we need to have. How people in this age are victims of Kali Yuga and their total ignorance. Now it has become a norm, basically. So there was some advertisement. The advertisement was that everybody. This is actually it is given. It is posted actually, a big poster. So it actually makes some point. That's what I'm telling. So advertisement is people are greedy and weak. You are not different. Now, what does this mean? This means that people are greedy and not different from that. It actually certainly it gives an indication. What is the indication? It is that you are normal only. There is nothing to be wrong about it. So even though this is not promoting any product, but what it is telling, this is an advertisement that hints to us that how a person should live in this material world presently. So what they need to do one way or another, they can show their greed, they can show their weakness. It does not matter. So this is actually what is indicated. Now, why I'm telling, like people, they became in this age, especially as modern civilization, the slogan is "Do it." Nothing to worry about it, and everything is fine. Everything is being washed away, and they will everything is common only. Now, when we hear the story of Parikshit Maharaj, that bull is having one leg, and how the cow is being slaughtered and all. Now, first thing to understand is how can somebody walk on one leg? So this is the principle. But the important point here is, the point is it can no longer walk. That is the point. That means dharma is no longer walking. There is no religion, no dharma left in this world presently. And since there is no dharma, no religion, that is going to support this world. So anybody, if you see, they don't follow any dharma. They are just doing whatever manodharma, whatever they feel right. And then the principle is no dharma, there is no life, no happiness. And if you see, there is always a quarrel and fight between the countries. You open just news channel, there will be so many fights and wars every time we are hearing this. And another thing we hear is, yeah, somebody else can share the screen. Somebody else can share the screen. Arvind Pro, you are available. I'll make you the co-host. You can share the screen. Anybody can share the screen. You can raise your hand. I'll make them the co-host. So here the point, very important point, that means Maharaj Parikshit was very surprised when he saw the bull condition of bull and the suffering of cow. But now it actually, for now, people are no more surprised. Although because what happened is people became so immune to such things, they don't feel any surprise only here. And especially if you see the internet, every day they are hearing so many things. Internet has actually robbed away the last traces of surprise for people. There are no more anything surprising for them. Every day they read something and it become a norm of life. For Parikshit Maharaj to see a bull and a cow, it was a big thing. But now it became a norm. Now this is a very important point. Try to understand here. Now this all became a law or a norm, invisible, but uh, now actually it is unthinkable in previous time. It's a commonplace now. So everything, everyone, they say everything, everybody is doing it. I am not bad person. I am also okay with them. And we do not understand to what extent all this, especially this news and ideas and the destruction of soul. Now, there are no humans left in one way, according to the previous ages. There are only, and now, what does people means? Because this is the distinguished factor between humans and animals. What is that? The ability to sacrifice. This is actually what makes humans. The ability to live based on higher ideas. If people lose this ability, then there is no difference between animals and humans, because cruel and this is actually animal tendencies, only ability. Now, why it is like that? What is the special quality amongst animals and humans? Animals, na, they are always very self-conscious. They are just conscious about uh, their body only. So, but humans, so the humans, na, they actually have this developed consciousness. What is this developed? They can expand their consciousness, whereas animals cannot do. Animals' consciousness is entirely concentrated on its body. They cannot sacrifice. Even if they have them, some animals, na, they become mothers and no cats or dogs or anything. They think that it's an expansion of their body. That's why they serve their children. They don't understand that there is some other soul or something. They sacrifice, but they're understanding it's my own body because it comes from their body. It's like that. So it's, but humans, they have this expanded consciousness. They can expand their consciousness, and this allows a person to go beyond the limits of his egoism. And this is the important factor. They can go beyond the egoism, and also we can know beyond our existence. We can deprive. This is if we are deprived of this quality, then we will become more dangerous animals than animals also. If we give up this mentality, not going up, not trying for sacrifice. So we hear this very famous joke. Like in Germany, there is a zoo. All the dangerous animals are kept. In the last, there is one special room and said most dangerous animal, and big mirror is kept. So what does it mean? Why humans become most dangerous animals? Because if they are deprived of this ability to go beyond their egoism, beyond their interest, if they don't learn to sacrifice, then they become very dangerous. This is actually what is happening. They are not going for a higher thing. They bring evil to everyone and to themselves also. They destroy whole humanity, which is happening. They become big weapons are created. So much other destruction of consciousness is very dangerous, especially internet and all. People destroy like anything. Now, Vedic civilization, the basic principle of Vedic civilization is to educate real people. And people from the very beginning, they are taught. What is they are taught? They are taught what is the ideal person. That means ideal person is who has ability to sacrifice, to do something for the sake of others in a disinterested way, matlab selflessly. This is actually because this is the highest. And if you take bhakti is also like this, selflessly serving. The highest state of consciousness is pure bhakti, pure sacrifice. And it should start in a simple way. There is some kind of sacrifice, but the purest sacrifice is bhakti. Now bhakti, he says that okay, do it, but don't expect anything. Even if you expect happiness in doing it, it is not pure bhakti. We cannot even expect pure, you cannot expect happiness also in bhakti. It destroys bhakti, that's what. So varnashrama, it's actually a system that is made to help a person gradually progress. It helps a person to learn the sacrifice. We cannot immediately take to the highest sacrifice, but gradually, okay, do it for the family, do it for the society. So although the idea is actually this lives in the heart of all persons. Everyone is actually looking for it. There is sacrifice, the tendency to sacrifice. We give the example of World Trade Center when Many people, they try to escape in the World Trade Center when it was falling down. Some people escaped, and some firefighters went inside. And when they went inside, they died. But people appreciated their death because they appreciated the sacrifice. So this deep the appreciation for sacrifice is there. Now inside there are false ideas, and that are now presently what happening. These false ideas are suggested from the childhood. The idea that no, we should live, we should become taller, brighter, beautiful, and there is something else to glow and grow and glow, and this is what is created now. Now instead of Varnashram teaches sacrifice, modern way of living teaches you have to step on others' head and go top of the ladder. But Varnashram system, it is gradually expanding the consciousness. This is the system of human evolution. This is what is given. Now, why Parikshit is surprised is saying, how is it possible that people are behaving like this? Now there is no surprise. More you suppress and more you go on the top of ladder, no matter whatever you did to become there, nobody cares. It is not actual. We are Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur says we are not against evolution. Evolution is there. Dasavatara is also an evolution, he says, because there is Matsya, Kurma, Varaha. Slowly, from the aquatics to the living entities are growing reptiles, and then there are other animals. Now, but the point here is the growth of consciousness. Wider the consciousness, and the ability to sacrifice increases. And the highest sacrifice is bhakti, because that is the highest level of consciousness in any living entity. The more I am focused on myself, the more I wider my consciousness, the more I am able to turn on the world and ultimately to God. So if we wider consciousness, we can see. First, we can see the pain of other living entities. And it took time for me also to understand, other people also suffer. Like some people, when they see some very poor people or somebody with little this effects and all, so immediately they become very, very sad. And one devotee, my friend is there, he does all this social. For him, he got a post that no, this girl, when she her father died, and mother, she was working as a laborer, and she took the child and she went on the 8th floor. She was doing some labor job. She fell from there, she died on the spot, and the child, her backbone was broken, and now she's completely paralyzed and everything. Now she's in an orphanage. So as soon as he saw, he felt so sad. And of course he does every day, he does all the social activities, and he supports old age and all these things. But when he saw, he was so moved, and he said now he's going to hospital and trying to arrange a doctor, see how it can be cured, because at least she will be able to do her own things. Now, what my point is, for him it is so much touching because his consciousness is little more evolved. Some people who see, it does not matter for them. They say, anyway, it happens. But it does not touch them. And some people, Prabhupada was also crying, but Prabhupada is crying when he's seeing the living entities who are away from Krishna, and then they are suffering from away from Krishna. That is actually so much, because his consciousness much more elevated. He's not just looking at a bodily platform, he's looking at terms of soul also. So anyway, the point what I was telling is, we, even though we are very small, 10,000 part of the tip of the hair, but we will be able to contain. It is said that our consciousness can contain infinity. This means I am not thinking about myself. I can think and I can expand my consciousness to a very high level. That is very much possible, unlimitedly. So this is what is to be understood here. And of course, so this is Varnashram system helps a person gradually increase his capacity to sacrifice. Now, for Shudra means what? Who is so much conscious about himself. That is why for him there is little demand. He says, okay, at least thank God. That much is told. Shudra, they in the Vedic society, they say, okay, you just thank you the God. Now, it is actually, they are not according to the birth. It is based on the consciousness. If you are lamenting, you are a Shudra according to Varnashrama. But the same time, they are told to do simple job for themselves. And also good Shudra means what? Good Shudra is he's respectful, ability to respect. So now the Shudras lost their quality also. In Kali Yuga, there are no Shudras in one way because people don't respect also. Good Shudra, he's humble, he respects. He does his duty and he respects the higher order, and in that way he gets elevated. Anyway, that is not the point discussion, but what I wanted to explain is how it was so surprising that time, and it is no more surprising now because people have grown so much that it does not matter for them what is the situation outside and how things are going. There is no surprises. We say, yeah, it's normal, everything goes like that only. Like now here, Sudha Goswami, the personality of Kali, we'll just read some of the purports. There are some nice important points Prabhupada makes in the purport. Please try to pay attention. Even though I'm not sharing the screen, but you can open your books for today. Tomorrow we'll make that. So the personality of Kali being ordered by Maharaj Parikshit began to tremble in fear. Seeing the king before him, like Yamaraj, ready to kill him, Kali spoke to the king as follows. The king was ready to kill the personality of Kali at once, as soon as he disobeyed his order. Otherwise, the king had no objection to allowing him to prolong his life. The personality of Kali, also after attempting to get rid of the punishment in various ways, decided that he must surrender unto him, and thus he began to tremble in fear of his life. The king or the executive head must be so strong as to stand before the personality of Kali, like the personality of death, Yamaraj. The king's order must be obeyed. Otherwise, the culprit is at risk. This is the way to rule the personality of Kali. So this is a very ideal way, and who created disturbance in the normal life of the state citizens. Now it is actually very difficult for present age people to do that, but still, at least some of the executive heads or whatever, they are trying their best. We cannot, because we are not doing, we cannot comment also, because it is said, na, if you point out the mistake of a person, you also get the same amount of same amount of reaction. That means we share the same state of consciousness. So we don't find point, but we tell this is the standard, and we try to see if anything happens. So the personality of Kali. So here Kali is speaking. Kali Ruvacha, O your majesty, though I may live anywhere and everywhere under your order, I shall be seen you with bow and arrow wherever I look. The personality of Prabhupada is explained. The personality of Kali could see that Maharaj Parikshit was the emperor of all lands and all over the world. So he is actually he was emperor of all lands all over the world, and thus anywhere he might live, he would have to meet the same mood of king. The personality of Kali was meant for mischief. Personality was meant for mischief, and Parikshit Maharaj was meant to subduing all kinds of mischief monger, especially the personality of Kali. It is better, therefore, for the personality of Kali to have been killed by the king instead of being killed somewhere elsewhere. So he was, after all, a surrendered soul before the king, and it was for the king to do whatever was required. So what Kali is telling, Prabhupada is telling that, anywhere I go, you will kill only. Better you kill now only. Parikshit said, okay. I will give an alternative. And Kali is telling, therefore, O chief among the protector of religion, please fix some place for me where I can live permanently under the protection of your government. Actually, here a very important point. See, Adharma also has a place in the Lord's kingdom. So, Adharma, why? Because some living entities want it. They desire to live in such a way, even though they go in wrong direction, but that desires are there. Because in the beginning of creation, demons are also created. Why to create demons? Because that is the tendency of living entities. Demons are created, Rakshasas created. When Parashar Muni was doing sacrifice to complete all the Rakshasas, because his father was killed by Rakshasas. So Parashar Muni performs a sacrifice to kill all the Rakshasas. Then all the Prajapatis and everybody comes and says, no, 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 you cannot kill because they are also living entities. That's okay. Same thing happened with Janmeja. He wanted to kill all the snakes. Then they come and says, okay, no, no, snakes are also needed because that is the tendency of a living entities. That desire of a living entity need to be fulfilled. Some are envious. So envious people, they need the body of a snake. So you have to facilitate them. So Lord is very neutral in that way that he facilitates all living entity desires. And to fulfill that desire, he need to give certain intelligence and energy. That also Lords make arrangement. That is the point. So here we see that Lord is making arrangement for Lord is making arrangement even for Dharma. So Parikshit Maharaj is telling. So here the living entities in the material world, every time they may be given, some living entities are given opportunity in Satyuga, some in Dwapara Yuga, some Treta Yuga, and all the mischief people, they come into Kali Yuga. So their ability to access their way of living is very much suitable in Kali Yuga. So they may appear in Kali Yuga to do all these things. So in 30, so here Prabhupada is telling that so the personality of Kali addressed Parikshit, Maharaj Parikshit, chief among the protector of religiosity, because the king refrained from killing a person who surrendered. A surrender soul should be given all protection, even though he may be an enemy. That is the principle of religion, and we must just imagine what sort of protection is given to by the personality of Godhead to the person who surrendered unto him, not as an enemy but as a devotee. So the Lord protects the surrender souls from all sins and all resultant reactions of sinful acts. And then we have next sloka. Sutta Goswami, Maharaj Parikshit has been petitioned by the personality of body, gave him permission to reside in places where gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter were performed. So the basic principle of religiosity, such as pride, prostitution, intoxication, falsehood, counter the four principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanness, mercy, and truthfulness. The personality of Kali was given permission to live in four places, particularly mentioned by the king, namely the place of gambling, place of prostitution, the place of drinking, and place of animal slaughter. So then Prabhupada elaborates on this about these principles, and then we have so Prabhupada gives a very nice instructions. He said the state which want to eradicate corruptions by majority may introduce the principles of religion in the following manner. So he gives a few guidelines that should be followed by all the ministers and all. He said 2 compulsory fasting days in a month, if not more. Even more for the economy point of view, fasting days are very helpful. Then he says so many other things you can read. It's detailed, so will not go for it because I wanted to complete so some homeworks for it. The personality of Kali asked for something more, and because of his begging, the king gave him permission to live where there is gold, because wherever there is gold, there is also falsity, intoxication, lust, envy, and enmity. So it's a very nice purport Prabhupada is telling. We will read this purport. Very nice points Prabhupada make in this. Although Maharaj Parikshit gave Kali permission to live in 4 places, it was very difficult for him to find a place because during the region of Maharaj Parikshit, there was no such places. Therefore, Kali asked the king to give him something practical, which could be utilized for his nefarious purpose. Maharaj Parikshit thus gave him permission to live in a place where there is gold, because wherever there is gold, there are all the above mentioned 4 things, and over and above there is enmity also. So the personality of Kali being became gold standardized. So according to Srimad Bhagavatam, gold encourages falsity, intoxication, prostitution, envy, and enmity. Even a gold standard exchange and currency is bad. Gold standard currency is based on falsehood because the currency is not on par with the reserved gold. So that means the paper. The basic principle is falsity because currency notes are issued in value beyond that of the actual reserved golds. This artificial inflation of currency by the authorities encourages prostitution of the state economy. See, Prabhupada is telling this is 40, 50 years back. The price of commodities become artificially inflated because of bad money or artificial currency note. Bad money draws away good money. Instead of paper currency, actual gold coin should be used for exchange, and this will stop the prostitution of gold. Gold ornaments for women may be allowed by control, not by quality, but by quantity. This will discourage lust, envy, and enmity. When there is actual gold currency in the form of coins, the inflation of gold in production, producing falsity, prostitution will automatically cease. These will be There will be no need of an anti-corruption minister for another term of prostitution and falsity of purpose. So this is all explained here. And then thus the personality of Kali, by the direction of Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Uttara, was allowed to live in these 5 places. And then we have this. Therefore, whoever desires progress, well-being, especially kings, religionists, public leaders, Brahmana, sannyasis, should never come in contact with the 4 above mentioned irreligious principles. So, we just read the translation. Therefore, thereafter the king re-established the lost legs of personality of religion, and by encouraging activities, he sufficiently improved the conditions of earth. So, by designating particular place for the personality of Kali, Maharaj Parikshit practically cheated Kali. Prabhupada writes, in the presence of Kali, Dharma in the shape of bull and earth in the shape of cow, he could actually estimate the general condition of his kingdom. Therefore, actually, I want to discuss about cow. We might have heard many things, but one important point is cow. I told this also previously. Cow is a very selfless animal. Whatever comes out of cow, because whatever cow eats, it gets purified. Cow dung, cow urine, anything comes from cow. It is because its heart is very pure. Whatever comes is also pure for cow. The system is me. Human bodies are not like that. So that is the very important factor. That's why cow is such a sacred animal, and that need to protect. So here the cow, Mother Earth in the shape of cow. So this is what was the standard in Parikshit Maharaj's kingdom, and of course it could not be maintained for a long time because the Kali has to come and people need to be facilitated with such desires. But if such rulers are there, they can they can still help living entities in that condition. Yeah. So we will read the purport. This will read, and maybe tomorrow we'll continue a little bit more. I am not able to share the screen, so I don't want to keep for long. So this one last purport we will read. And hopefully you are all having your... Okay, so we'll just read the translations and some homework I'll give for you to complete this chapter. Because there are very simple understandings, and by your reading also you can get some of, but please complete the homework. some things that we will do. In the present age, Kali, Dharma in the shape of bull and earth in the shape of cow, he could actually estimate the general condition of kingdom. Therefore, he at once took proper steps to re-establish the lost legs of the bull, namely austerity, cleanness, and mercy. And for the general benefit of people of the world, he saw that the gold stock must be employed for stabilization. Gold is certainly a generator of falsity, intoxication, prostitution, enmity, and violence. But under the guidance of a proper king or public leader, or a Brahmana or a sannyasi, the same gold can be properly utilized to re-establish the lost leg of the bull, the personality of religion. Maharaj Parikshit, therefore, like his grandfather Arjuna, collected all illicit gold kept from the propensities of Kali and employed it in the Sankirtanagya. As per the instruction of Srimad Bhagavatam, as we have suggested before, one's accumulated wealth may be divided into 3 parts for distribution, namely 50% for the service of Lord, 25% for the family members, and 25% for the personal necessities. Prabhupada writes 3 times here, spending 50% for the service of Lord or for propagation of spiritual knowledge in the society by the way of Sankit Nigna, is the maximum display of human mercy. People of the world are generally in darkness regarding spiritual knowledge, especially in regard to the devotional service. Therefore, to propagate the systematic transcendental knowledge of devotional service is the greatest mercy then one can show in this world. When everyone is taught to sacrifice 50% of his accumulated gold for the Lord's service, certainly austerity, cleanness, and mercy automatically ensues, and thus the three lost legs of the personality of religion are automatically established. So three times proportion, 50% give everything. When there is sufficient austerity, cleanness, mercy, and truthfulness, naturally Mother Earth is completely satisfied, and there is very little chance for Kali to infiltrate the structure of human society. Now, why it is not practical now to give 50%? The main problem is because there is an artificial way of living. It was possible in previous ages, but now it is not very practical. That's why even though they hear, they are not able to do many of them, because we have accumulated so many artificial ways of living, which is making almost impossible for people to do this. But it is possible in previous ages. But now at least people can give 10, 20, whatever percentage it's serving the Lord and propagating. And if they are not able to do anything, Grahasthas, what is the best thing they can do is regularly call devotees, devotee couples, or brahmacharis and some sannyasis and other Vaishnavas to home and feed them prasadam as many times as possible in a month, weekly, once, twice. More you call devotees and start feeding, that actually makes our heart very purified. Because when we are doing this sacrifice, now we always feel, so much of my money is spent in feeding. But that will help actually slowly to very nicely get elevated. Because if you see Chaitanya Charitamrita, two things you will find whole Chaitanya Charitamrita. One is Kirtan and then one is Prasadam, feeding Prasadam and Kirtan. Grahastha, this is the way to spend their money, feed them. So even if they are calling weekly 2 times or 1 time also, it is 1/7 of their income is spent in serving Vaishnavas. So that is good. And further it is said that the most fortunate Emperor Parikshit, who was entrusted with kingdom of Hastinapur by Maharaj Yudhishthir, when he desired to retire to forest, is now ruling the world with great success due to his being glorified by the deeds of king of Kuru dynasty. So now he is no more ruling, but they just said it is ruling. So he already. The prolonged sacrificial ceremony undertook by the sage of Naimisharya was being shortly after the demise of Maharaj Parikshit. The sacrifice was to continue for 1000 years, and it is understood that in the beginning, some of the contemporaries of Baladev and elder brothers of Lord Krishna also visited the sacrificial place. According to some authorities, the present tense is also used to indicate the nearest margin of time from the past. In that sense, the past tense is applied is also used to indicate the nearest margin. So, in the sense, the past tense is applied to the region of Maharaj Parikshit. For a continuous fact, also present tense can be used. The principles of Maharaj Parikshit can be still continue, and human society can still be improved if there is determination by the authorities. We can still purge out from the state of all activities of immortality introduced by the personality of Kali if we are determined to take action like Maharaj Parikshit. He allotted some place for Kali, but in fact, Kali could not find such places in the world at all, because Maharaj Parikshit was strictly vigilant to see that there were no places for gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter. Modern administration want to banish corruption from the state, but fools they are, they do not know how to do it. They want to issue license for gambling houses, shops selling wine and other intoxication, brothel, prostitution, hotels, and cinema houses, and they allow falsity in all dealings, even their own, and at the same time, they want to derive out corruption from the state. They want the kingdom of God without God consciousness. How can it be possible to adjust two contrary matters? If you want to drive out corruption from the state, you must first of all organize society to accept the principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanness, mercy, and truthfulness. And to make the condition favorable, we must close all places of gambling, drinking, prostitution, falsity. These are some of the practical lessons from the pages of Bhagavatam. And it is true also in many ways. Like it is, people want it, but they don't want God consciousness. And it is not possible for any state to do it. Like Prabhupada, when he was, there was crime in New York City and Chicago. Then Prabhupada was met by the chief police of Chicago. Prabhupada said, yeah, it is very easy. You distribute prasad and do Sankirtan, the crime will reduce. Of course, they could not do it. Right? It was not easy for them to accept it. But Prabhupada, he said, this is a solution. That's all. Do it. And Prabhupada say, for the last look of this chapter, Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Abhimanyu, is so experienced that by dint of his expert administration patronage, it has been possible for you to perform a sacrifice such as this. So because of Parikshit, you people, you are doing sacrifice here. That's what Saunaka Sudha Goswami is telling to Saunaka Rishis. And this last purport, very nice. The Brahmanas and Sannyasis are expert in the spiritual advancement of society, whereas the Kshatriyas and administrators are expert in the material peace and prosperity. Prabhupada, he has wide range of knowledge. He could cover so many topics. Prabhupada is very intelligent. Of course, he's all empowered by Krishna. But you can see Prabhupada can cover so much, and that too very, very precise. In a very short way, Prabhupada can give so much knowledge. It's unlimited, Prabhupada. All of them are the pillars of all happiness, and therefore they are meant for full cooperation for human welfare. Maharaj Parikshit was experienced enough to drive a Kali from his field of activity, thereby make the state receptive to spiritual enlightenment. If the common people are not receptive, it is very difficult to impress upon them the necessity of spiritual enlightenment. Austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, the basic principles of religion, prepare the ground for the reception of advancement in spiritual knowledge, and Maharaj Parikshit made this favorable condition possible. Thus, the rishis of Naimisharan was able to perform the sacrifice for 1,000 years. In other words, without state support, no doctrines of philosophy or religious principles can progressively advance. There should be complete cooperation between Brahmanas and Kshatriyas for this common good. Even up to Maharaj Ashoka, the same spirit was prevailing. Lord Buddha was sufficiently supported by King Ashoka, and thus his particular cult of knowledge was spread all over the world. So thank you all very much. I'm sorry could not share because some technical issues. Tomorrow we will do it. We will continue. Thank you all very much.